Welcome back, beautiful and amazing people. I'm DocJinzo. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile that's near and dear to my heart. Yes, sir. I've kept these guys since they were released in Wild Survivors. That's right. We are doing Vanquish Souls. Now, the main thing you got to know about Vanquish Souls before we get into this profile is that a lot of them, basically all of them, have quick effects where you reveal monster attributes in your hand, either dark, fire, or earth. And they get their effects based on which attributes you reveal, as well as the fact that some of the big ones have quick effects to summon themselves during the main phase, but we'll get into that in the profile. So for now, let's get into it. So let's go ahead and start it off here. We're going to have 3 Vanquish Soul Raisin. This guy's kind of the heart and soul of the deck. On summon, he actually searches any Vanquish Soul monster, which is normally going to be like your Holly Sue or your Mad Love or something like that. However, he has 2 other effects as well. You can reveal fire in your hand at any point as a quick effect to make a card not be able to be destroyed by card effects that turn, as well as you can reveal a fire and a dark in your hand to destroy all monsters in his column. He's actually his own interrupt, which is very, very, very nice for that card. Next up, we're going to be having 3 of the new gal on the block. Vanquish Soul Holly Sue. She is wild. So during the main phase, you can reveal a Vanquish Soul in your hand and special summon her just for free. Very, very powerful already. However, as a quick effect, during any phase, you can either reveal a dark and an earth to take an opponent's monster, or you can reveal a fire and a dark to special summon any Vanquish Soul from your deck for free. No matter what, nothing happens at end phase to it. It's just, it's there now. So definitely good. You can get out Raisin with her to pop stuff, or you can get out Caesar to pop stuff as well. She's definitely good as an interrupt. Next up, 3 Vanquish Soul, Dr. Mad Love. This gal is very, very good in the deck. She's better than she was whenever the deck first came out, simply because of the new field spell they got that is frankly one of the best cards I've ever seen printed in Yu-Gi-Oh!, especially as a common. Now, what she does on summon is she searches any Vanquish Soul spell or trap from your deck. So you're usually going to be getting your field spell or your Super Book of Moon, which we'll get into later in the profile. However, she also has 2 other effects as well. You can reveal a dart to neg something's defense by 500 permanently on the board, or you can reveal a dark and an earth to bounce a monster on the field with the lowest defense. So not the best effects to use, but she's still viable for sure. And as a searcher, her utility is fantastic. Next up, you used to run 3 of this guy, now I'm running 2 personally. Vanquish Soul Heavy Borger. He is a very good card. If you don't know what he does during the main phase on either player's turn as a quick effect, you can bounce a Vanquish Soul that is not a machine to special him. Very, very nice effect. It lets you dodge Imperm. It lets you dodge a bunch of the other Fet Veilers if you're playing against Blue Eyes or something like that. So pretty nice there. You can also reveal a dark to draw a card, or you can reveal a fire and an earth to burn your opponent for 1500. So he also is replenishing your hand, as well as if you're going into time, he makes it to where you don't automatically draw or lose in time. So pretty nice card there. Next up, we're going to have a couple one-ofs. We're going to have 3 one-ofs. We're going to have Vanquish Soul Xiaolong, Vanquish Soul Pantera, Vanquish Soul Caesar Volius. Now, let's go ahead and get the elephant out the way with Xiaolong. Xiaolong, most people say, is a 2-of. I beg to differ. He does special himself whenever you reveal a Vanquish Soul in your hand, so pretty good effect there. And also as a fire, you can reveal a fire and switch the battle position of something on the board, or you can reveal 2 fires and search for any Vanquish Soul card in your deck. So pretty good there as well. But he... How do I put this? This deck is all about hand advantage, and I like to keep my hand advantage. Special summoning him out on the board is pretty much you're just going for game at that point, or you're desperate for a card in your deck that you need. Other than that, I like to keep him in my hand to keep the attributes in my hand. If I already have a fire in my hand, I might summon him, but for the most part, he kind of stays there just for his fire attribute. Next up, Pantera. She's always been a 1-of. She never will not be a 1-of. If you don't control any monsters in the main monster zone, you can special her. And you can reveal an earth monster to make it to where she cannot be destroyed by battle. And you can reveal an earth and a fire to make it to where she pops any spell and traps in her column. So she's like Raisin, but she pops spell and traps. That does come up sometimes if you're playing under a floodgate or something. So very nice there. But for the most part, she's always just going to be a 1-of. If you want to play a rank 4 type spam deck, you can maybe get away with 2. But you're probably going to want to save those for something like Fualos or something like that. Finally, the big boss monster himself, Caesar Volius. Some people run 2. Some people even run 3. I run 1 because if I had room for 2, I'd play 2. But at the same time, double drawing him is really, really rough. So he is the boss monster of the archetype. He does what Heavy Borger does, where if you have a Vanquish Soul on the board, you can bounce it and special him as long as it's not a dragon type, so he can't bounce himself, basically. And he also has 2 other effects which are nutty on a card. So first, you reveal an Earth, makes him unaffected by your opponent's activated effects that turn. Already crazy. But it turns him into towers. But also, as his other effect, you can reveal all 3 attributes, Dark, Earth, Fire, to blow up any card on the board non-targeting. Very, very, very powerful effect. Very, very good card, and one of my personal favorites. I love this archetype. I love fighting games, and it is great. Now, we're going to go into some of the non-engine monsters here. This is actually kind of a going second variant of the deck. So we're actually going to be using some, not necessarily board breaker cards, but these cards can break boards. It definitely forces responses from your opponent. So first of all, 3 Kashtira Fenrir. Fenrir is very, very, very good in the deck. This guy searches himself or searches Rise Heart. You're also going to be playing 1 Rise Heart. You know why? Because these guys are Earth, this guy's a Fire. If you're missing an attribute, he gets you one of those 2 attributes. Fenrir gets you 2 attributes out of your deck for basically free. And he's also removal that your opponent has to answer. Very, very, very nice card. Next up, I'm going to be playing 1 Humongous, the Sticky String Kaiju, and 1 Dogoron, the Mad Flame Kaiju. I used to be playing more Kaijus. I played like 4. I played Radiant and 2 Humongous as opposed to just these 2. But with all the new cards out, couldn't really find room to put more. But yeah, Kaiju's very strong in this deck. Fire, Earth attribute there as well. You could get away with running 3 if you put in a Radiant as well. That way you get all 3 of your attributes, as well as you could side Interrupt the Kaiju Slumber, which I used to do, actually. You could side Interrupt the Kaiju Slumber and just wipe the board. Very, very, very good cards there. And they answer a lot of the inboards to a degree. Like, they get rid of the Detonator if you're playing against Ryzeal and stuff like that. The only downside to these is they are really bad against the Mitsurugi matchup, but they are also easy side outs for that match. Next up, your staple cards. 3 Ash Blossom. She actually serves a dual purpose in this deck because she has a fire attribute, so she helps with that. 1 Dimensional Shifter. This card's basically an auto win against most decks still. Very, very, very nice card. Also dark attribute, so that helps as well. And then now we're on to the spells. This card is crazy. Stake Your Soul. You're going to be running 3 of this thing. And this is why we're running Kashtira Rise Heart as well. If you don't know what this card does, you activate it, you reveal any monster in your hand, you special summon a Vanquish Soul with a different name, but the same attribute of what you revealed. So if you reveal an Ash Blossom, you can actually summon a Raisin, and you still haven't eaten your normal summon, and they have to answer that, or else you're going to be searching Halisu, and you're off to the races there. So that is pretty nice. Next up, your 1 of Vanquish Soul spells. Dust Devil, start, continue. Dust Devil was the go-to interruption in this deck before the field spell came out. So what Dust Devil does is you can target a Vanquish Soul, change his battle position, and then book a moon, any number of monsters on the board equal to the number of Vanquish Soul monsters you control. That is very, very nice because it does not target. That is the key thing about it. It does not target. So very, very good there. Vanquish Soul Start. This card is the new card on the block, and it is crazy. It is the new spice. So, if you don't know what this card does, let me explain. First of all, you can target a Vanquish Soul you control, add a Vanquish Soul from your deck to your hand with a different attribute than what you target. Just for free. Just get anything out of your deck. Why not? Also, if that's all you think it does, let me have another thing coming as well. It also has a replacement effect that's not once per turn, so it's not an activate effect, so you can use it whenever. So if a Vanquish Soul monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can just reveal a Vanquish Soul in your hand and it's not. That's a replacement effect, and it can just anytime. The card's wild. And then finally, if you control 2 Vanquish Soul monsters at the end phase, you can actually set a Vanquish Soul trap from your deck. So you're actually playing the trap. I used to not play the trap, but the trap is very, very viable now because you can just basically search it, and it's wild. We'll get into it later in the profile. And then finally, you're going to be running 1 Vanquish Soul Continue. You could get away with 2 if you really wanted, but I like it at 1. Basically, what this card does is a quick play spell. You pay 500 life points. You either special summon a Vanquish Soul from your grave or add 1 to your hand. Very, very, very nice card there. Next up, some more board breaker type spells, because this is going second build. We're going to be running 2 Super Polymerization. We're not running 3. 3's a bit clunky for my taste, and 2 just seems to kind of be the magic number here, especially because your extra deck, you're not going to be running more than 2 super poly targets. You could if you wanted to, but in that case, you would probably want to run 3. Next up, 1-up spells. Reinforcing the army gets you Raisin. Pot of Prosperity, need I say more? And then finally, I forgot to put this card in the other night, but we finally remembered to do it now. Reasoning. Best card ever. You see me use it in Master Duel a lot in my builds. And if you don't know what Reasoning does, you activate it, your opponent calls a level. You mill your deck until you hit a monster that can be normal summoned. If they call the level wrong, you special it. If they call it right, it goes to grave. It's very good Ash bait, as well as the fact that they're probably going to call it wrong since everything in the deck is a different level, except for Mad Love, Raisin, and Arise Heart. Next up, we're going to go to traps. You're going to be running 1 Vanquish Soul trap, and that is Snow Devil. This card is kind of wild. So you activate this card, you reveal either Dark, Earth, or Fire in your hand, and depending on how many attributes you revealed, you get these effects in sequence. First, you burn your for 400 damage, and then you can special summon a Vanquish Soul from your hand. Already kind of great. Next effect is you burn them for 600, and all your Vanquish Soul cards can't be destroyed by card effects that turn. Pretty nice there. Finally, you burn them for 800, destroy all monsters on the field. Pretty wild if you ask me. So yeah, very good, especially because it's settable off the field spell. Just, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Next up, 3 Infinite Impermanence. Need I say more? It's just kind of good interruption, because you are running to go in second deck, but at the same time, you don't want your opponent having too much gas, because board breakers only go so far in a format. And then finally, 1, there can be only 1. You're running a lot of different types. Might as well run it. You can probably cut it for 3rd Super Poly if you want a pure go in second build, but this card can definitely auto-win against most decks. It auto-wins against Malice. It auto-wins against a lot of decks right now. So yeah. Next up, extra deck time. 3, Rock of the Vanquisher. This card is crazy. So it is a Link 1, requires 1 Vanquish Soul monster, and during either player's turn during the main phase, you can activate one of these effects. You can either special summon a Vanquish Soul from your hand, or add 1 from your graveyard to your hand. It does not target. That is key, and that is crazy. Also, you may say, oh, but Doc, he has 0 attack. What if they swing into him? Well, not to worry, my friend, because if you control a Vanquish Soul monster, they can't swing into him. That is his continuous effect. So really, really, really nice card there. I like Rock of the Vanquisher. And you have to run 3 because you are going into him a lot. And also, you can get away with banishing him off Prosperity. You can play it at 2, but I wouldn't recommend playing any less than 2. That's just crazy town. And then finally, 1 Vanquish Soul Rocks. Vanquish Soul Rocks he doesn't really come up too much, but he's still pretty good. He has certain effects based on the attributes of what you have under him. But the main thing you got to know is that if a Vanquish Soul monster attacked that turn, you can overlay him on top of just 1, or you can overlay him on top of Rock, which is pretty nice because your Rock's not going to be sitting there dead. Also, his main effect that you're really concerned about, like he has some attack gain and attack debuff effects for the opponent, but the main thing is if he has an Earth under him, you can detach to pop a card on the board. That's not a quick effect, unfortunately, so he's definitely a one-of if you want to run him at all. I wouldn't mind if you didn't, but yeah. And then finally, this extra deck is very, very flexible. Very, very flexible extra deck in Vanquish Soul. So you can either go like an Xyz route like I did, or you can go like access code line. You can put in even more super poly targets. We were on 3. The possibilities are endless for the extra deck in Vanquish Soul, because Vanquish Soul are a main deck heavy deck. So extra deck, it's basically just your toolbox for anything that you might need. So I decided to go with a little bit more Xyz since there's a lot of level 4s in the deck. So stuff like Exciton Knight basically blows up the board. Can't really go wrong with that. I would say you probably still need to run one of these in whatever build you're running, the King Dempsey, because that gets you Raisin. He can get you Raisin off the King Dempsey. Baguska, very, very good card, especially in this format. Just Baguska is always just a pain to deal with for people. And then I run this in a lot of my decks, if I can. Utopia and Utopia the Lightning. Utopia the Lightning I really like just because he buffs himself to 5k, so you can get over the Lunalite Liger, or even you could crash him into a Heart's Cryptor, which is nice. But I also like the effect that they can't activate anything until end damage step, so any destruction effects or graveyard effects they don't get whenever you attack with Utopia the Lightning. I really like Utopia the Lightning. I think he's still a great card, and yeah, I just enjoy Utopia the Lightning. Next up, final 2 Xyz. Zeus Typhon, need I say more? Next up, Lynx. 1 Nightmare Unicorn for removal, and 1 SP Little Knight, again for removal, and also if you brick, you just go on a Little Knight and pray that they brick too. Finally, your 2 Super Poly targets, Mud Dragon, Garura. I mean, you could also run Starving Venom, you can run the Predaplant 3-headed dragon, the choice is yours. But yes, that is Vanquish Soul. I am not going to be going into my side because I don't really do that on the channel, but yes, let me know what you think of the deck, and let me know of any changes that you might make to the deck list. I would like to know, because this deck list is very, very iffy. It's very going second centric, but also has some going first cards in it. So if you would rather play like a pure going second build or something else like that, then yeah, I would love to know your ideas. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe to show your support for the channel. This is DocJinzo signing out. Y'all have a good one.